Welcome, everyone. So tonight's class is going to discuss a little bit of the unseen world, the sixth sense. And we're going to focus on angels and what they mean for us in our lives. So I think the best way to appreciate the vastness of this topic is, first, let's look at the definition of angels according to Kabbalah. Angels are really a code word for energy. And it's the way the Creator communicates energy with our world. Angels are one-dimensional forces of energy, differentiated only by their mission or spiritual purpose. Meaning angels can't multitask. So there are several types of angels. The first type are called the ministering angels. So they're a group of forces, energetic forces created at the time of creation, that are static forces that exist in our world. And each one of those ministering angels all have one job each. Every force has one job, one task, and those ministering angels just constantly do that one task. So for example, there's an angel that's in charge of healing. Its name is Raphael. Anytime a person experiences healing or needs healing, this force, this conduit, is the one bringing energy through that channel. Does that make sense? Every time. Doesn't matter who or what, doesn't matter if you know Kabbalah or you don't. If a person has the flu, and let's say you have the flu and you take medicine, it's not the medicine that's healing you. For some reason, that Tylenol that was created through whatever effort by whatever scientist encapsulates that energy that is delivered by that angel. You follow? It's interesting. So if there's a factory making Tylenol, it's really this factory found a way to channel the angel Raphael. And we also know not every medicine works exactly the same for each person, right? That's because if a person receives that energy, it has a lot to do with who they are and what their tikkun is, which also manifests physically in their lives as genetics or whatever's going on with their body. Another angel is responsible for all of our prayers. Every time we pray, we request something, we talk to the Creator, that angel takes it and delivers it through a vast network of spiritual worlds before it can communicate in the way that Kabbalah explains the upper worlds works. Then there are other angels. Another group of angels are really the angels that appear daily. These are angels that are created by human beings' thoughts, words, and actions. They're created, they serve a purpose, only one task, and then they disappear. In the same way that atoms come together to form a human being, when that human being leaves the world, the atoms it's like they dematerialize and they go back into creation. How do things dematerialize? When you burn something and it disappears, everything eventually goes back to its physical building blocks of atoms. So energetically, it's the same way. When an energy is manifested, it then goes back to the bank of energy. It goes back to the Creator. And this is probably the most important part to know, because in the tip of my finger, how many cells exist? What do you think? Billions of cells, right? Now, does every cell have the light of the Creator in it? Yes or no? Okay. So now that we know, we've always known that every cell in our body has the light. So now we're taking it a step further. What does it mean it has the light? There's a force, an agent, a broker, that transmits energy to that cell. That's called the angel. So there is an angel that is responsible for bringing energy to that cell in the tip of my finger. Now, how many cells do we have? Billions. So how many angels are always working at the tip of my finger? Billions of angels. Now, if I do this, watch very carefully. What am I doing? What am I doing? Have you ever had a business and maybe you had like 5 employees and it was like overwhelming? Or you had 1,000 employees? Or maybe you have 100,000 employees? Or maybe you have 5 million employees? How challenging is it to manage 5 million employees? The vastness of that. Now imagine I do this with my finger. What am I doing? How much energy I'm generating, I'm creating, I'm affecting quantumly in the world just by this. Now what if I do this with my whole hand? What if I'm moving my entire body and I'm speaking at the same time and I'm thinking thoughts? What energy vibration am I creating? There's a lot going on. What if a person kills another person? We just think, oh, the soul, it leaves, and that's it. In one moment, how much energy do you destroy? How much energy do you destroy, or negative energy, negative angels, because it's positive and negative angels, can you create when you hurt someone? Let's say you insult someone and say, you know what? You are a horrible person. And then for 3 days, they're depressed, they're sad, they're moody, they have negative thoughts, they have hate as a result of your cynical remark. What kind of negative forces and angels are they creating now? They decide they don't want to share anymore, they don't want to care anymore, and whatever. You become the cause of a person creating infinite amounts of negative energy. It's important because the Kabbalists say the number one reason why we hurt people, the number one reason why we speak evil speech, the number one reason why we cheat in life or cheat on people, the number one reason why we're constantly looking for people's approval and we do things that aren't true to ourselves is because we don't appreciate or feel the magnitude of light that we possess. Now, if I told you, if we all just told you right now, you actually have the soul of Moses in your body. You were the reincarnation of Moses. Would you act differently from this point on? Right? If you knew that the soul of Moses decided to reincarnate into your body, would you maybe talk differently? Would you maybe act differently? If you were insecure about something, someone liking you, maybe you'd look at it a little differently. Wouldn't you? Wait a minute, I'm Moses. Moses. You're not calling me back? I'm Moses. I don't need you to call me back. I'm Moses. You understand? Once, and it says that if we actually could see, the game would be over. No one would ever short circuit if you could see who you are. No one would ever be reactive, ever, about anything. Someone hurts you, you hurt them back. What are you talking about? If you saw the light, what's going on, the angels, there's infinite physical things going on in our body. Just on the physical level. Now imagine those physical parts are broken up even to even more parts, and each one has an angel in charge of it. It's incredible. Part of the study of Kabbalah is to help put things in perspective. Because before spirituality, everything is a mishmash to us. This world is a giant mishmash. We're all just confused. This up is down, down is up. This is good and bad, and one day you like him, one day you don't like him. It's like this. Nothing makes sense anymore. When you study Kabbalah, you start to separate illusion from reality. What's the illusion? Everything I see. All of the rules that people try to live life by, total illusion. What is reality? What we learn in Kabbalah 1. That's reality. Everything's a test. Everything's to help me grow. My only free will is whether I'm going to be reactive or not to a challenge. That's it. That's the only choice you have, by the way. You choose nothing in your life besides, at the moment of pain, whether you will restrict or you will react. It's your only choice. You don't choose who you're going to marry. You don't choose who your children are going to be. You don't choose what career path you're going to have. You don't choose what your body's going to look like. You choose nothing besides restrict or react. Now, based on whether you restrict or react, that might change what your body looks like. That might change who you meet and what kind of career you have, yes. But don't think you are choosing that career. You follow me? Your only choice from the moment you leave from the only choice you have right now is, oh, I'm having a negative thought. Am I going to restrict or I'm going to react to it? Oh, somebody hurt me. Am I going to restrict or I'm going to react? You know what? I want to be lazy today. Am I going to restrict or I'm going to react to that? That's your only choice. You don't say, I'm going to the gym. That's not a choice. That's already pre-programmed. Your choice is that moment you have lack, what are you going to do? The moment you get to the gym and you say, I'm just going to walk around and do a little this and a little that and go to the steam room. Or, no, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to push myself a little bit each time. And we have millions of those choices a day. That's why 1,000,000 times in a day you can change your destiny. If we can control ourselves a little more each day for the rest of our lives, that's all the Creator wants from us. Our thoughts, our words, our actions. You know, when life gets really confusing, raise your hand if life has ever gotten really confusing for you. I mean, like to the point you had no clue what to do anymore. All right. Do you know why life gets really confusing? Rav Ashlag talks about it. Many of the sages talk about it, but he specifically says, the reason why life gets confusing is because the Creator is trying to tell you, stop investing in the illusion. Stop pretending that it's also real. Because if it wasn't confusing, we'd actually think, this is real. This is me. This is happening. And we'd forget about spirituality. We'd forget about growing ourselves. We'd forget about the Creator. When things become confusing, where do we turn to? God. We say, okay, all right, I give up. Whatever you say, whatever you want. I'll study. What do you want? What should I learn? How should I do it? I don't know anything. When things get very confusing, always go back to the basics. What are the basics? You tell me. What are the basics you've learned here so far? Now, Satan's going to try to complicate this and confuse us. That's his job. Remember, Satan equals mishmash. He wants to create mishmash. So let's go back to the basics. What are the basics that you've learned here that you know is a truth? What's a truth? Okay, pause is the truth. What do you mean pause is the truth? What is it truthful about? Me pausing does what? Yeah. Me pausing allows me to be the Creator. I'm pausing my reactive behavior. I'm God now because I'm no longer reactive. Light comes in. What's another truth about the light? Tell me something about the light, a truth about the light.
If you act like the light, you'll get everything.
That's the bottom line. If you act like the light, you get the light. That's the bottom line. Yeah, but there's so much chaos. There's so much confusion. What should I do? Act like the light. Yeah, okay, I'll act like the light. But what should I do? No. You didn't hear it. Act just like the light. And then what's going to happen? It's all going to work out. How do you know? It's the truth. At some point, you have to just trust, and do it. Oh, I don't believe you. Okay, that's another answer. But we have been here long enough, and we've seen that it works. In fact, it works every time. Now, what does Satan do? He does play with the time element of restriction, doesn't he? In Kabbalah 1, the Creator wants us to believe it. So we do restriction, immediately we feel a surge of energy. Immediately we see a miracle. Immediately something good happens, we're like, wow, the stuff is great. Then, to elevate your consciousness, something happens. The space between your restriction and your miracle gets larger. Because you have to grow now. You have to grow. That's the bottom line. The test gets different. So what does Satan do? You do restriction, you do something positive, and then Satan brings a negative action, a negative result from a negative seed you planted 3 years ago, and he makes it manifest now. So you did an act of sharing, and immediately you got a ticket. And you say, I'm never sharing again. No, don't confuse yourself. You knew that act of sharing revealed the light. Just because you got a ticket doesn't negate the truth. Remember, Satan wants to bend the truth and the lies. That's his job. How do you know you're not being with the light? When things become complicated. Whenever your mind gets complicated, whenever your life gets complicated, whenever your business gets complicated, whenever anything in your life becomes complicated, you know you're getting farther from the light of the Creator. Always, that's why confusion happens. Confusion happens because it's going to make you simple. You know when people have a lot of confusion? You know when people are complicated? When they have a little pain. You know when people are simple? When they have a lot of pain. I'll say it again. A little challenge happens, we get complicated. What should I do? How should I do it? Complicated. But then when a lot of pain happens, what do? Broken. You're broken. And you become so simple. You start to appreciate life, start to appreciate your spouse, start to appreciate your kids. Imagine, God forbid, you just found out FBI is coming and arresting you. All of a sudden you love your wife or husband much more. Immediately, no? Wouldn't it be true? If right now you found out this was it, you'd be like, honey, oh my God, I'm so sorry about everything. I love you so much, but what can you feel so close all of a sudden. Because when a lot of pain comes, you go back to your root of simplicity. And that's why we have cycles where pain has to come, because we overcomplicate things. Now let's get back to the angels. What's the reason that we're learning about the angels? To learn how big the light is and how small the illusion is. We want to be the masters of these angelic forces. I'm going to give you a handout from the writings of one of the greatest Kabbalists, Rav Isaac Luria, who lived 500 years ago. And he wrote a book called The Gate of the Holy Spirit. And this entire book is all about the sixth sense. I just took the first 3 paragraphs of the book for you to now read and discuss with the person sitting next to you. Let's go through this line by line. It says, know that when a man is righteous or pious, what does that mean? It has many different meanings according to the Kabbalists. But a person is righteous, in Hebrew, a tzaddik, based on his consciousness at that moment. Okay, so it's not about a holy person that looks holy. It's about who are you right now. If right now you are in tune with the frequency of the light of the Creator, it says that in the upper worlds, they see no difference between you and, let's say, Moses at that moment. It's a really powerful thing, because no matter what you've done in the past or where you're coming from, spirituality has nothing to do with your progression. Spirituality has to do with what you decide to be right now. Always remember that. Know that when a person who is connected to the light of the Creator prays with intention, nothing is insubstantial, and that even the sound produced by striking with the rod was not in vain. What is he trying to say there? He's saying that a person who is really connected to the light of the Creator, and this is what we want to strive, that everything we do has a spiritual reason, has a positive effect. For example, a very high-level spiritual soul, if he even moves his hand like this, he's doing it knowing that it has some positive effect. Everything, in every move of the finger. There's nothing robotic. There's nothing haphazard. There's nothing by chance. It's almost like every part of his body moves because the light wants it to move. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like maybe you wanted to do one thing, but your body moved in a different direction, in a positive direction, almost like you were being guided by a higher power? Raise your hand if you ever experienced something like that. Okay? Some people might call it instincts or impulse or intuition. The more we connect with the light and purify ourselves, the more the Creator starts to guide you. And the intention becomes for the sake of something good. We have free will now to be with the light. But you know what the goal is? The goal is to get to a place that you don't have any more free will. Now, that can happen two ways. Right now, we're in the middle, meaning we have a choice, good or bad. When people do a lot of negativity, eventually they go so far to the negative side, they have no more free will. And that's actually when they leave the world. When it's deemed that this person now truly believes in reactive behavior, truly believes in negativity, is addicted to the level you cannot break his or her addiction, there's no more free will. Do we know people like that? It's like they don't even have a choice. They're just always negative. But then on the opposite end, you want to get to a place where you so connect with the light that you don't have free will anymore to connect with the light. Meaning, you just see the light all the time. You only do the good. In the beginning, when you're working on your tikkun, is it hard, yes or no? Why is it hard? You go against your tikkun, you go against your anger, you fight your jealousy and your negative thoughts or your internal sadness, your self-esteem. Your self-esteem tells you, no, you can't do it. And you're like, no, but I believe in myself. He told me in class that I'm Moses. No, but I don't want. And you go back. So you still haven't crossed over. But there's a moment you cross over and it's done. It's locked in. You have no more free will. You always believe in yourself. That's it. Now, you know these people, like they always believe in themselves. You could tell them they are the worst human beings and they don't care. It's usually like the Aquarius. You can tell them, you are the worst. I don't understand one word you're saying. I know they think they're the greatest human beings ever. They won't tell you that, but that's it, they're done. So it's kind of like, like pure Aquarius, like strong Tikkun Aquarius. So each one of us, we know, like there's a place in our lives that we're so connected to the light that nobody could veer us away from that. Do you know of a place in yourself that you're like that? And then there's places we're not sure and we have doubts and fears. That's tikkun. You still have free will there. There's some people here that no matter what, they're not going to kill anybody. Like, if somebody told you go kill someone, and you're like, no. I know that's wrong. That's not me. I would never do it. But there are some people that, given the circumstance, the opportunity, or the pain, who knows what they would do. So they still have free will. So he's saying we want to reach this level. Where we lose the free will, we become like angels, because angels don't have free will. Angels see the Creator, they're like, are you crazy? Why would I do anything besides share and be like the light? We're sometimes confused about being like the light. We're not sure if we want to do it. We're not sure if it's going to work. The angels, because they see everything, they have no free will. They just do the right thing all the time. It is not wasted, but surely angels are created from it, and sacred spirits that exist and endure. So this is what we spoke about in the beginning. Everything we do creates spirits. How many angels are in the room just from this class? From our thoughts. If everyone right now thought the most negative thought, what would happen? Would you feel the difference in the energy in the room? It's like we would all create like mini demons. I don't know how else to say it to catch our attention. We would all create mini demons, and they would all just create heaviness in the room, negativity in the room, and eventually those demons would have to manifest. So you ever have like a pain somewhere in your body, even for like 10 seconds? That's one of those negative demons manifesting itself energetically and then going back into the cosmos. You ever get like a rash, or you get some kind of pain in your back, or a cough you couldn't get rid of for an hour? Okay, 1 hour of a cough, that's, 100 negative forces, negative angels just cleansing themselves. So everything has to manifest. So it behooves us to always be in the positive consciousness, as much as we can, as much as we can. That's what he's saying here. As the sages say, he who observes one good deed acquires an advocate, an angel for himself. Because from man's speech good angels or evil are formed according to his words. As written in the Tikkunim, when man studies Torah, Torah is always a code for all the wisdom that we're talking about here. Kabbalah is an aspect of Torah, just so we know. It's the 4th level of Torah, the deepest level of Torah. The sounds and breaths emerging from his mouth become a chariot, this is deep, a chariot to the soul of the ancient righteous men. All right, what are we saying there? Why do I ask you to read this out loud? This is the writings of an incredibly high-level soul who left the world at the age of 38 years old. And he was the highest master Kabbalist in his generation and is considered to be until today. He is actually considered to be a reincarnation of the soul of Moses, of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar, and it says eventually the spark of that soul went into this man who left the world at 38 years old. By reading his writings, the breath becomes a vessel that holds the spark of the soul of him. And that's why whenever it comes to writings of the Torah or Kabbalistic writings, when you have this meditation, by saying it out loud, the words out loud, you draw like his guardianship, a guardian angel that actually starts to teach you the concepts. So I'm not teaching you. This is not teaching you. When you say the words, his soul actually comes to teach you. Isn't that amazing? Now, is it accurate about anything we read? I'm not sure. Maybe. Maybe if you read People magazine, the editor, the soul of the editor, you start to gain the energetic consciousness of the author of whatever you read. Haven't you seen that? That's true. We know that. And that's why I always want to be careful about what I read, what I look at, what I allow into my soul. Because whatever you look at, whatever you talk about, whatever you listen to enters into your soul. Enters into your soul. That's the good of our time, that there's so much transparency, so much communication, but it also has its side effects if we're not strong, if we don't understand how to harness its power. That's why the Kabbalists say the Zohar, at the very least, to scan the Zohar is the first level. But if a person can read the words of the Zohar in its original language, you help draw the soul of the author of the Zohar, which is really Moses' soul. But if you can read the English, it's the same thing. Just to read it out loud, you can draw that spirit, that angelic force to be part of you. Next paragraph. Everything accords with man's doing. Oh, I love this. If he does a spiritual action for its own sake, you might hear this a lot. Its own sake means you do something with the intention that you want to get close to the light. It's the most powerful intention. I'm now coming to give you a class. I'm a Kabbalah teacher. I'm coming to teach you. If I'm coming to teach you because I want to teach you, it's not a high level. If I'm coming to teach you because I want you to like me, it's definitely not a high level. If I'm coming to teach you and I'm worried about what you think about me, not a high level. If I'm coming to teach you just because I like to share and I want to share and I want to do good things, not a high level. What's the highest level I can have in my mind to come and teach any class? And I have to say this before I come in. I tell the Creator, through the action of sharing that this would be, I want that the light, that I get closer to the light of the Creator. When you meditate on that, that's how you build the light inside you. When you say, I want to give you because I want you to like me, then you build no light inside yourself. All you build is a dependency for their approval, and you strengthen that muscle over and over again. How many times you said a nice compliment to someone because you wanted them to say thank you back, or you wanted them to like you? So what are you building inside you? Are you building your light, or are you building your need for people's approval? So it's all about intention. You get according to what you intend. That's where energy flows. And he's saying here, if a person can do something with the right intention, meaning the intention of building my light in my soul, I want to be secure, because when you're insecure, you make mistakes. When you're insecure, you're going to pick the wrong partner in life. You're going to pick the wrong businesses in life. You're going to draw down various souls that don't belong to your soul root when it comes to the children you draw. You're going to see black as white and white as black. You're going to see someone good looking and think, wow, I'm attracted to that person, when in reality, they're the worst person for you. Everything becomes a mishmash in the illusionary reality when you're insecure. When you're insecure, you'll say things that you don't really want to say, but you'll just say them because you want energy, because you're insecure. You have no security. You're out of security, and you want security. You say, oh, you must be able to give me security. I want your energy. I'm going to take your energy. I'm going to either take it by flattering you, by buying you stuff and manipulating you, or maybe I'm going to complain to you. That's another way I can take your energy. Or you know what? I'm going to be cynical around you. I'm going to be passive-aggressive around you. All of these are ways I can take your energy and build security inside me. People take it from social media. People take it from everywhere. Anything that has energy, we look to it for energy. We have to build our light first. We have to build our light first. You know that first time you fell in love? Remember the first time? Maybe you liked someone and you were a teenager. Did you have the light inside you? No, you didn't. You didn't have the light inside you. You haven't built your light yet. So why are you so innocently awestruck and in love? Because you're getting all this energy and you're like, yeah, this is amazing. You are my soulmate. I'm probably going to marry you. Did you ever think you were going to marry somebody when you were a teenager or in your early 20s? Like, yeah, I want to marry you. Like, you were so sure of it. Because you didn't have your own light yet, and you got all this energy all of a sudden. You're like, this is what life is about. That's it. I feel great. But until you build your own light, you can't be in a relationship. So what happens? You get hurt. You get really hurt. Because this person gives you all this light, and then guess what they do? They take it away. And then you're left there saying, oh, what happened? I'm broken. I'm broken. I don't know myself. I'm never going to be with anybody again. This is horrible. I hate everyone. I hate you. Now I have PTSD. Now I'm this. Now I'm worried. That's it. Now you have post-traumatic stress. And then the next relationship, you're like cynical. You're not so sure. You don't give all the way. You have trauma. That first relationship, the reason why we get hurt, and 99% of us get hurt unless we had some amazing past life scenario where we corrected it. We get hurt because it forces you to seek out who you are. It forces you to seek out help, to heal, to build. In Kabbalah, it's called the 4 phases. We're not going to learn it tonight, but the 4 phases are: you get something, and you must lose it to have a desire to get it back in the right way. So everything in life has to actually be lost to receive it. Now, there are ways to avoid loss, but that's for another class.
Before you, let's say you go teaching and
Yeah.
then you want to teach from the right motive, like from the right place, so what do you?
I just established via a mantra and a prayer, I say, I want from this action my reward to be the light in my soul. I don't want the reward from the class. And until you get to a place, I remember the first time I ever taught a class, 16 years ago, in the room over there. It was maybe, I don't know, 20 people. This person was sleeping with his head on the table, like this. I had another person, I remember it till today, I remember the back of his head. He was facing that way. Like I'm teaching, like where she's standing, he was facing that way. Like he didn't even want to be there. And the whole time I'm like trying to talk. It's like my first time, and I'm like getting insecure. I'm like, why is he listening to me? Does he like me? I was like young. I'm like, are they leaving listening to me? And then that was a very powerful lesson, because when I told my teacher what happened, he said, first lesson you build is you don't want anything from your audience. You don't want anything from your audience. You want just to be able to receive the light of the Creator. And it sounded great intellectually. And then you practice, and you practice, and you practice, and then you start to build that muscle, and you start to let go of the insecure muscle. The insecure muscle wants people to like you.
You were saying that you had a mantra that you went through, and in my studies, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it was talking about entering into another level or connecting to the light by being in awe or fear being awe of God. And that going through that process is when we can connect.
This is another concept that is also related. The Kabbalists teach about having awe of the light of the Creator is a way to connect with the light. One of the reasons I told you about the network of angels is it builds a little bit of that awe. Because people are like, wow, the finger, yeah, billions of angels, oh, the hand. So there's a moment where you feel, whoa. So that awe, that appreciation, actually sets the stage to be able to want to be with the light. But that's a whole other class, but it's a good question. All right, let's continue. Next small paragraph. As the sages said, he who observes one good deed acquires an advocate for himself. And what the precept is lacking, the light of that angel is lacking, okay? So, for example, somebody says, hey, what are you eating? Oh, it's a cheesecake. Oh my God, I love cheesecake. Can I have a piece of your cheesecake? And you're thinking, I love my cheesecake. I'm so hungry. All I want is my cheesecake right now. But I remember Kabbalah said restriction, let it go, you get the light, but I just want cheesecake. I don't care about the light right now. So obviously because of guilt in the beginning, it's guilt consciousness. It's not for the sake of the light. It's all practice, it's gradual. So you say, okay. So you're like, and cutting it, and like mishmashing it, and you're putting it on a plate, and like, here you go. All right, begrudgingly, right? So what kind of an angel did you create? A positive one or a negative one? No, positive. You did the restriction. But what this positive angel looks like is interesting. This is what the positive angel you created looks like. Mishmash. Here you go. So now, this positive angel acts like that for you in your life. You're thinking, well, I want to be successful. I want to build a huge business. And then you tell your angels, I want to be successful. The angels say, okay, let me go. Let's see, maybe. That's your angel. As opposed to, like, your spouse asks you, honey, can you get, I'm tired, I'm on the couch, can you get me something from the fridge? All right, can you give me a tissue? Yeah, here. Here's your tissue. It's exactly your angel. You get the angel, you did the action, but that's your angel. When you tell the angel, I want to find the true love, they're like, all right, You go get it. You get it. Everything is the mirror. And then there's that husband or that whoever. Can you give me a tissue? A tissue? A tissue? Maybe the husband's on his phone. A tissue? Of course. Let me get you a tissue. Here. Then that's the angel you create. Angel that comes, brings it directly to you, serves it to you nicely. There are relationships that come directly to you that are served nicely, and then there's relationships that come to this way and that way, and it was painful, and the dates went back and forth, and you weren't sure, and maybe yes and maybe no, and do they like me, do they not? It's whatever you want is whatever you get is what you created your whole life. That's all it is. So these angels, the illumination. And we don't even have time to learn that there's different spiritual worlds that angels come from, and there's higher level angels, and different camps, and different dynamics, and different archangels, and different ministering angels that control them. And they're all here to work for you. But they will only be what you want them to be. So the reason why we should be excited in times of pain is because if you want the pain to end, when you're excited, you're creating all these energizing angels that go and they fix things for you. If you're slow and you're depressed in painful times and you have victim consciousness and you're complaining, so you create angels that extend your process. It's our free will. And it's our choice, and nobody's ruining our lives. It's only us. Nobody can touch you, nobody's affecting you, nobody's hurting you. It's only you. You are creating your life. When people say, I don't know, I think God doesn't like me, I don't get this thing here. That's not accurate. It's an accumulation of whatever you've created your entire life. That's it. It's something we have to just always remember. Satan takes it away from us. He makes us believe in the illusion. The illusion is, no, you are the reason I'm single. You hurt me 6 years ago, and that's why today I'm so hurt, I can't move on. Let's finish the paragraph. This is the matter of angels that reveals themselves to people and inform them of future things. This is higher level. Who are called in the books Magidim. Magidim are kind of like your own little guardian angel that whispers in your ear things. Now we all have these whispers. Did you notice? There's always something whispering in your ear, giving you ideas, giving you feelings, giving you emotions. The problem is sometimes they can whisper lies to you. So your Magidim, if you want an authentic, pure one, it depends on who you are. These are created from man's dealings in Torah and positive actions. Okay, so as we study, we create these angels, these Magidim. To some people, the Magidim do not reveal themselves at all. To some, they do. All this is according to the type of their souls or according to their actions. What I believe he's saying here, connecting it to other writings, is when you get to a very high spiritual level, you can actually see these forces. I don't think this is for any of us, but it's interesting to know here what he says. Some Magidim are true, while some Magidim lie a little in their words and have in them a mixture of falsehood and lie. The reason is that man had some evil aspect or some falsehood in the Torah study or in his own spiritual action. So beautiful. If you lie to the world, if you're not pure, the angels are going to tell you the same lies. And you're going to be confused. You're going to make mistakes. It all goes back to whatever we put out, that's what we get back.